Today, I'm going to attempt to untangle what exactly happened when Lucifer gave the fruit of forbidden knowledge to Eve in the Garden of Eden within Hazbin Hotel, and how that allowed evil to make it into the world, and how it possibly relates to the character Rue, who a lot of people are saying is the root of all evil. My name is Deepcut, hit that subscribe button if you know what's good for you, and if you don't know what's good for you, I literally just told you, jeez. Now, in Hazbin Hotel, we have heaven and hell, but this wasn't always the case in the show. According to Charlie's storybook, heaven existed long ago as the home of the angels. God is not mentioned, but instead, these beings of pure light were said to worship good and shield all from evil. When Charlie narrates this, good and evil are presented as two opposite forces, and with that in mind, good is essentially the ultimate god of this world, and thus evil is the ultimate devil in the show, with Lucifer and Satan being separate entities from each other, and this concept of personified evil. After Lilith flees from the Garden of Eden, she meets Lucifer, who teams up with her to re-enter the Garden of Eden and convince Adam's new wife to eat the fruit of forbidden knowledge. This is to give her free will in a sense, though with Lilith having the free will to leave Adam, this is a very particular kind of free will that we will discuss the possible implications of. Before we get into that, however, it's important to note that Charlie says that giving this gift to Eve is what specifically allowed evil to seep into the earth and created what she calls the realm of sin. This is shown to be connected to hell itself when it is said Lucifer was cast into this pit that he created, this new realm. Now, hell seems to have all sorts of references and connections to more primordial evils than the ones that have risen to power in hell. Even outside of the Eldritch-themed demons like the Von Eldritch family, the sister series Helluva Boss has an episode where the demon Stolas talks about a meteor shower he calls Azathoth's Tears. In Lovecraftian lore, Azathoth is a primordial chaos god that is said to exist before the concept of existence as we know it today, before the gods that rule over this existence. These meteors, according to Stolas, represent the tears of beings who yearn for existence but never get to, who never seem to find a way to slide into existence in hell. All of this points to there being a sort of chaos dimension beyond the existence of our reality, a place darker and more disturbing than hell that hell itself kind of sprang out of. This pit was only created when humans were given the free will from the fruit of knowledge. This was something that I think Sarah and the other angels were specifically trying to prevent, and exactly the reason why the elders considered Lucifer to be so dangerous. We don't know why the angels felt the need to create human life, but it seemed that without Lucifer's interference, there would have been no need for hell. His actions created hell, and before that, it seems that all souls were destined to go to heaven. Without free will, this would imply that the humans could only do what they were told, perhaps specifically by the angels. While we will discuss the opposite theory later, this idea would paint the angels as similar to the sons of God from the Book of Enoch, an extra-biblical text found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. This story expands on the tale of Noah's Ark from within the Bible, explaining in greater detail the sons of God mentioned as existing before the flood, who took human wives and created a race of giants known as Nephilim. These angels were meant to only give humans helpful knowledge that would lead to thriving societies, including the arts and sciences. If they had not rebelled, the angels would have seemingly created a system where all the human souls are given the proper divine guidance to grow into greater spiritual beings, and thus most, if not all souls, could go to heaven. However, the act of intermixing with the humans by taking wives from them was seen as ruining this plan by throwing existence out of order. These fallen angels taught their wives and their sons various magics and sciences that the humans were not properly developed for. The greatest example of this was teaching humans metalworking for weaponry as opposed for just decoration or what have you. By creating weapons, humans learned they could hurt and kill each other. Here, free will is represented not by the ability to disobey, which Lilith already seemed to have, but the understanding of what it means to disobey. This was the irony of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil in the original Eden narrative, as Eve and Adam ate the fruit to understand good and evil the way gods do, only to realize immediately that they had done something morally wrong. With proper guidance, even sin can be forgiven, as divine intervention from angels would help you learn why it was wrong and help you atone before your eventual death. However, with the knowledge of what is good and what is evil given by Lucifer, humans were now actively making karmic choices with everything they did, seemingly attaching more darkness to them than if they had been ignorant of the moral issues values and were able to use them to learn instead of already having that knowledge and then making poor choices. However, as cool as this theory is, it almost seems like the opposite is true based on what we know from the show. In Helluva, for instance, we see that cherubs from heaven are very freely able to come down to the earth and interfere with the affairs there in an attempt to get more souls into heaven. Thus, angelic interference has not stopped since Lucifer's act, and instead, it may have been what started angelic interference. According to Charlie, Lucifer's act was specifically what brought evil into the world. He saw creation as a celebration and wanted to celebrate existence with humans. But by revealing himself to humans and interfering with them directly, this may have been exactly what allowed evil to enter the world. After creating the humans, the angels may have been very hands-off, knowing that if they left humans to their own devices, without this sense of free will, they would naturally end up in heaven. But when Lucifer introduced himself to Lilith and then later Eve, he opened the pathway for the concept of evil to do the same, to not directly force anyone to do anything in particular, but to give humans the opportunity and understanding of what evil possibilities exist. Like Lucifer coming in to preach his ideas to the humans, the concept of evil could enter the earth and simply do the same, letting people make the bad choices themselves. This created hell, a place that those souls can be sucked to, because like the force of good, new soul seems to be something the concept of evil desires. This led to the evolution of natural life in hell, explored more so in Helluva. These natives to hell are a lot more like humans on Earth, being they are naturally evolved entities that age and procreate and then die. While they are said to live longer than humans as a whole, imps for instance are said to only live a little longer than them overall, probably just somewhere into a century and a half, with the other species each being said to have longer lifespans the higher you go up the general hierarchy. These entities do not have souls the way the humans do, and when their physical bodies are killed even by regular weapons, they do not go to heaven or regenerate or remanifest in hell, and instead they are thought to just stop existing. The natives and their princes, unlike Lucifer, seem interested in not just existing in hell, but in conquering the earth. In episode 3 of Helluva, for instance, we learn that there is a network of succubus that go up to Earth to spread disease and lustful activities among the humans, presumably making it so that more go to hell. There has also been strong implication that the imps are deeply involved in the wars on Earth when not farming in the Wrath Ring. This is hinted at with Millie's parents liking Blitz's name because it reminds them of war, perhaps specifically the term Blitzkrieg, which is a popular term for a type of German warfare during World War II. One of the main characters, Stolas, is specifically given his duty to decode the prophecies of the stars that surround the Earth, doing constant rituals involving our Earth's full moon every month. The prophecies that Paimon alludes to are generally understood to be those surrounding the end times, when the demons of hell are said to rise out of the pit for a final battle against the forces of good in heaven. Now, traditionally, the higher-ups in Helluva, such as Satan or Asmodeus and Paimon, are all considered to be fallen angels in real life, with Paimon being described in some of those real-life writings as being the most loyal demon of all to Lucifer. But in at least one Patreon Q&A, series writer Adam Nayland said that it hadn't been decided if these figures would be actual angels like Lucifer, but of a lower rank, or natives to hell. As natives to hell, they'd be extensions of that ultimate evil, and it would make sense that they are trying to conquer the earth and spread sin in a way Charlie hints at in her storybook narration. However, it is possible that, like Lucifer, they are angels that fell into hell the same time as him, with Asmodeus indicating that he's known his fellow Prince Mammon since hell first started. Finally, there is that mysterious character Rue. Rue has not appeared properly on screen in the Helliverse, but is well known as being a character that VivziePop tweeted a picture of, saying she was a threat in the distance for the Hazbin hotel crew. Fans have noticed that her jagged tongue design looks similar to the evil forces that seem to be entering the Earth in Charlie's storybook animation, and her various depictions don't look all that different from the way the embodiment of evil itself looks in the opening narration as well, in my opinion. In Helluva in particular, the IMP gang are being sacrificed by some cannibals in one of the first episodes, and when sacrificing them, the cannibals refer to worshipping not just Satan, but the root of evil, which has led some fans to speculate that Rue is short for root of evil, though I also seem to find this having roots in some sort of fanfiction that was written a long time ago. The symbol that represents this root of evil is seen in the background of Helluva. I have seen in a Lamau's video that some fans think this symbol can be laid over the supposed image of Rue burnt into the building in the opening of the pilot, but I'm not sure I see that. But what do you all think? Did Lucifer make it so that divine entities could interact with the world and thus corrupt it, or did Lucifer end up opening the vortex to evil in some other way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to check out the animated parody we made of Sonic having a battle with Mario. See you guys there.